Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, October 13th. Do you know where your children are? If you have children, you should know where they are. It's October 13th. The 13th. 13th is actually a really good number. I know that people sometimes think that it has more of a scary aspect to it, the number 13, but I like it. It's a 4. The cross sum of 13 is 4 because 1 plus 3 is 4. But let's look at the aspects today before we talk about what's in the news. So today, Wednesday, October 13th, we have a waxing moon. So we're still in this process of inviting new things into our lives, allowing these new things to come in from the new moon that we had in Libra. Good morning, Justina. Nice to see you. Good morning, Right as Rain. It's also Mercury's day today. So that means that it's all about communications, and Mercury is retrograde. So check and double check everything you can. Good morning, Raquel. Good morning, Naughty. So yeah, leave your schedule with a little extra wiggle room if you can. Just because it's Mercury's day, things might come up out of the blue. It's Mercury retrograde. You want to give yourself a little bit of extra time in your schedule. We got a Capricorn moon up until 4:47 p.m. today, and then we enter Aquarius. And I always feel like when the moon goes from Cap to Aquarius, it's like get out of jail. Not the Capricorn's, a bad sign, but it's heavy and the moon doesn't like itself there. Not one bit. Good morning, Diane. So yeah, 4:47, we have the moon in Aquarius, which will lighten up the mood. But until then, we do have the Capricorn moon, so keep that in mind. Capricorn words and phrases include career, status, caution, structure, responsibility. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Diane, excuse me. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit heavier in the beginning of the day with the Capricorn moon. Career, status, caution, structure, responsibility. And then when the moon enters Aquarius at 4:47 today, keywords and phrases for that include intelligent, weird, rebellious. Aquarians are very rebellious, humanitarian, innovative, and unpredictable. So keep that in mind. Good morning, Melissa. We also have Venus sextiling Saturn, which we will talk about at the end of the show. But there's some really interesting news. Today that I'm really doing this in a lot of respects because I want to learn more. I want to expand my mind, understand the different perspectives that are out there. And there are plenty perspectives that I'm looking to get some more insight on so I can better understand and really determine my own values, because that's what I think is really important. All these news stories, they really encompass values. Today, in fact, we have in the news something called blackfishing, which is, I believe, it's the first time I heard about it. But Jessie Nelson is being accused of it. So former Little Mix singer Jessie Nelson has been accused of blackfishing this week. But what does it mean? The term blackfishing was coined by journalist Juana Thompson in 2018 and is used to describe someone accused of pretending to be black on social media by using makeup, hair products, and in some cases surgery to drastically change their appearance. Nelson, 30, was accused of blackfishing after she released her debut single Boys with Nicki Minaj earlier this week. In the music video, Nelson is seen as being heavily tanned and her hair styled with wigs and braids. So Nicki Minaj is getting a little bit of flack because Nicki defended Jessie. Jessie's on the left over here over claims of blackfishing. But she also called out Miley Cyrus, who's on the right, over a similar scenario. I guess that at one point Miley went through this phase in which she was looking black, which Nicki Minaj called her out for. Oh, that's okay, Grandma. It's okay. Well, your morning's going to get better. Everything's going to be all right. Moon's going to Aquarius later. It's going to be a lot more fun. Yes, thank you, Grandma. Let's mount the like button. Super important. So Jesse, who was accused of blackfishing, later took to Insta to comment on the claims and she credited her tan to a recent holiday in Antigua. She added, quote, "I personally want to say that my intention was never, ever to offend people of color with this video and my song because, like I said, growing up as a young girl, this is the music that I listened to. These are the videos that I watched and thought were the best. For me personally, 90s, 2000 hip hop, R&B music was the best era of music. I just wanted to celebrate that. I just wanted to celebrate that era of music because it is what I love." So, few things I have questions about. I have questions. One is, okay, typically what they say is what we worship, we become, right? So, and also, like, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, they say. So, how does this work? Like, why is it, if you're worshiping a particular era or people or group or culture, you're going to become that. So what, are you not supposed to like stuff in case you become like that stuff? The other concern I have, or question I have rather, is osmosis. So osmosis is, it's sort of, you see with plants that you have two plants of completely different varieties, but if they're actually in close proximity with each other, they start taking on each other's traits. And the same thing, really, when we wind up being absorbed in a culture. Like if I lived in Paris for 4 years, I probably would come back more Parisian. I'd probably start speaking more French. Maybe I'd be more advanced in certain ways as the French are. Is that cultural appropriation? I don't know. It's not really my fault because I'm being absorbed in the culture. Just like with Jessie, if she is, spending all of her time absorbed in the Black culture with the R&B stuff that she loves, it's just going to happen without her meaning to. When I go to Boston, for instance, 5 minutes is all I need with a friend from Boston, and I start picking up on that Boston accent again. And it's not, that's probably a terrible example because I'm from Boston originally, but even, look at, Madonna, who starts talking with an English accent. I mean, it could be affected, but really, if you're absorbed in a culture, you're going to start acting like that culture. So that's a question that I have. Getting a tan and enjoying hip hop or R&B is racist. This is awful. I think that's sarcasm, right? I think so. Well, this is interesting, right, is Rain. Look at this. It's okay for guys to wear dresses, girls to wear masculine clothes. So why not change other aspects of your appearance? Why is black off limits? That's a really interesting question. I'm guessing, and again, I don't know, but I think in this particular instance, they're concerned about the sponsorship deals, the big money that people who are appropriating Black culture are getting paid, and the actual Black folks are not getting these lucrative deals. But it's interesting you say that because essentially, somebody had really made this question: why is this considered wrong, but self-identifying as a different gender is not? What is the difference? Very rarely do we actually, and this is an interesting, question as well. Nowadays there's much more of this awareness. I guess it always existed, but there's much more of awareness of being transgendered, people born as a man or a woman, but feeling they are actually women if they're man, and men if they're women. But what's interesting is I haven't really heard of, say, women being upset that guys are becoming women. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if it's different. Because like in that instance, right, these people, these transgenders, they think or they feel as if they are actually women, even if they were born men, or they think that they're actually men, even though they were born women, and they're expressing themselves. So I'm wondering, and again, I don't know, I'm just questioning here, if somebody could actually be born one sex and then feel that they're another sex, how could they, wouldn't they also be able to be born white but actually feel internally black? It's a really good question. I'd love to hear what you guys to think, but yeah, apparently in terms of this article, it's about money, according to this, because of the sponsorship deals that are really very lucrative. Other than to tear people down. Interesting. None of this, Naughty says, none of this is really reasonable or sane in the slightest. It seems that there's no solid reason beyond this mode of thinking other than to tear people down. You know, it's interesting. I really don't know. I really don't know. Oh, um, yeah, it's interesting, the transgender stuff. That's like a whole other segment that I'd love to learn more about because I don't completely understand it. Women in sports are upset. They are competing against transgender. Yeah, I would think that that's a problem just because with the bone structure and, you know, there's natural testosterone. But I'm guessing they would have to run like tests or do measurements to make sure. Oh, yeah, this, you know, there's a lot of stuff there. But in terms of this topic in particular, I'm wondering what I'm missing here. Is it just the lucrative deals? Because I would think that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And if you are going to become whatever you worship, whatever we worship, we become. And, you know, what is she not supposed to love what she loves? She loves this stuff. She's clearly, in that quote, she's not coming from a place of being mean in the slightest. She's coming from a place of adoration. So I guess maybe, is it just because of the lucrative deals they're getting? I don't know. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. It's pretty interesting. While you're at it, folks, please mount the like button. I would really appreciate that. That would be amazing. Oh, interesting, Naughty. She says that there are no tests, no guidelines, nothing. If woman says no, she gets canceled in the industry. I mean, yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff going on. Good morning, Fran. Oh, thank you for mounting. I appreciate you mounting our like button. In other news today, Geraldo's back. So last week, he called out vaccinated dickheads who urged the unvaccinated to fight for their freedom. In a quote last week, he said, open-minded and inclusive, I'm friends with all kinds of people, but as we pass 700,000 COVID dead, I have zero tolerance for anti-vaxxers. Most of all, I detest vaccinated dickheads who urge the unvaccinated to, quote, fight for their freedom, the mob urging the man on ledge to jump. So then yesterday, Geraldo was on the 5 causing trouble or getting in a little bit of a tiff with Jesse Walters. He said that pilots are screwing over America. He also said that he's had enough of Texas GOP rep Chip Roy gaining, quote, sexual pleasure from the chaos of airport cancellations. Strange choice of words. He's referring to Chip Roy having said, you know, in light of Southwest Air's DCA terminal being super packed due to cancellations, Chip Roy tweeted out, "This makes me happier than I can possibly articulate. Eat it, Southwest Air," he said. So on the 5 yesterday, of course, they clashed on this subject. Incidentally, I'm sure you've heard about it, but there's been lots of Southwest airline cancellations, over thousands, and they brought airports to a partial standstill for several days. There are rumors, though, denied by the company. They're blaming staffing issues instead, but the rumors are saying that pilots and crew members did a coordinated walkout to protest mandated vaccines, and prominent Republicans like Ted Cruz took the rumor as fact and ran with it, trashing Biden and other companies who participate in vaccine mandates in a celebratory manner. So we have here Chip Roy further saying that he's 100% behind these walked out employees, or alleged walked out employees. He actually said that let's make Southwest Air and others trampling the rights of their employees to healthcare privacy to pay back their previous bailout. Yeah, Geraldo has had it with celebrations. He's had it with these people saying that they're happy about the chaos at these airports. He went off on Roy, saying that he's getting almost a sexual pleasure from the chaos and destruction. He also slammed the pilots as screwing Southwest customers who were caught in the middle of this whole mess. This article says that he's not wrong, but of course, that's an opinion. So, my question to you guys is, so we can further illuminate this topic, are the Southwest pilots, are they being selfish by not showing up to work, by leaving these people stranded? Right as Rain says, Rivera doesn't know what he is talking about. The truth of vax injuries and lack of effectiveness will eventually be known. Ooh, it will be interesting. It's funny they are throwing Ted Cruz under the bus because he's totally pro-vax, but he's more pro-freedom of choice. I think a lot of people are pro-vax, but I think that pushing people to do it or forcing it, mandating it, I think that some people feel that that's definitely crossing a line. Geraldo is uninformed and over opinionated. Well, he's definitely emotional about things. He's a Cancer. Well, this is interesting. Pilots are at much higher risk of getting COVID. Why? Why would that be? Because they're in airplanes that are filthy? Is that why? Yeah, let's see here. Now, he wants to force people to one side or the other. I'm vaxxed, but don't believe it should be mandatory. Yeah, I think it's. I think that it's really interesting topic. I don't know necessarily the science behind it. I don't, even what we've been told. We don't know. But I think that it's definitely triggering a lot of people because they don't want to be forced to do something, nor do they think that that other people should be forced, even if they are vaxxed. Okay, so Right as Rain says, pilots are at risk of blood clots. Is that because of the altitude they're flying in? Is that it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see. Of strokes while flying due to the altitude. So are you saying that like the vax could create more problems for them? Or are you saying that, I think you said they're more susceptible to COVID due to their profession? Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think that we have to look at this from all different sides. One, can you imagine having a trip, finally going on a trip and then not being able to go someplace, or not even a trip or a vacation, but needing to get somewhere, maybe to a sick relative or something like that, and being stranded. It's really interesting. I wish there was a way before more flights get canceled or delayed for us to all reach some kind of agreement, some kind of compromise. Oh, vaxxed pilots have been dying. Ooh, that's scary. Oh, because of side effects. Interesting. I did get the COVID shot. I got the Moderna, and the first one was fine. I just had a sore arm. But the second one that I got, it was bad for me. Like I felt like I had the flu. I felt like weak as a kitten, and I never feel weak as a kitten. It was really, really rough, but that's normal. Usually when you get bad side effects, like at the second dose, at least with the Moderna, that means that it's working, that your immune system is really strong. So I don't know. There's a lot of science that needs to be discussed in regard to this whole thing, but also I think that there needs to be something that gets people aligned so that people are not stranded at the airport. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, that's interesting too. Why can't they do weekly testing? Why do they have to be poked? I think a lot of companies are doing that actually. I don't know why Southwest would not be, but yeah, you could go for a lot of companies. They're not saying you have to get vaxxed, but it's either you get vaxxed or you get weekly testing. Yeah. So other stuff that is going on today that I want to talk about before we conclude on this beautiful Wednesday is we have a wonderful aspect with Venus sextiling Saturn. Yay! This is a really nice little aspect that we have going on today. So we have Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty, and it's making a harmonious sextile with Saturn, the planet of restriction and responsibility. So this is going to make us dutiful about making committed partners happy and content. So maybe you'll do something for your hubby or your wife today. This will also increase our need for companionship, wanting to feel loved and valued by somebody, but it must be serious and true. Remember, Saturn is involved, and Saturn wants stability. Saturn wants security and definition. That's a huge, huge aspect of Saturn is definition. What are we? What are we doing? In terms of partnerships, I think especially under Mercury retrograde, keep it light, but definitely be there for your partner under this aspect. Doing business today is favored. It's also a good time to work on fine-tuning, perfecting creative projects. Creative projects fall under Venus, and Saturn would be the perfecting of the fine-tuning. So definitely enjoy this aspect. So yeah, let's just see what else we have here. This is an interesting point. Unfortunately, I don't think conversations are really being allowed. Which is why we aren't coming to a compromise. That very well could be. I think a lot of times, especially now, it's like people are afraid to speak up about certain things, and it's really important to open the discussion for civil discourse, but really so we can reach some agreement. But yeah, I have got to scram in about a minute. But do you guys have any questions at all about today's aspects or any other comments about our stories, about blackfishing or Geraldo or Venus's sextile to Saturn or anything like that before I go? Let me just see here if I missed anything. Conversations aren't being allowed. Let me see here. Well, that is okay. I think you guys are all set. You're ready for your Capricorn moon, then your Aquarius moon. You're going to make the most of Venus's sextile to Saturn. If you're watching this at a later date and you have any comments about blackfishing, Geraldo, today's aspects, etc. Okay. Yeah, you have a great day too. But if you have any other, thank you, Melissa. If you have any comments or of those issues or anything you want to say, I'd love to hear them in the comments. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you soon.